Hey guys, I'm Olivia here today with Litepanels, and we are on the farm talking about Hilio. The Litepanels Helio series are high-powered LED fixtures that deliver the intensity, light quality, and versatility of a traditional HMI par at just a fraction of the power consumption. Helio panels emit a raw, narrow beam that provides the intensity that you need for longer throws, to light an exterior, wash a set with soft light, or even illuminate a green screen. Now, when you see this panel, the first thing that you're gonna notice right off the bat is just how bright it is. It's a super bright light, but yet it's really energy efficient. There's no ballast, and you can plug 5 of these into one typical house circuit, eliminating the need for a Jenny truck or a tie-in. Now, for those of you guys on a budget, as you know, this is a real savings. Another feature that I really like are the Nano Optic Lenses that you can just simply slide into the Helio. Now, like a traditional par, these lenses shape the light vertically, horizontally, or simply soften the beam, but without the cost of expensive glass. This is a feature that is really unique to the Helio series. It gives you much more control, and it opens the light up to a whole host of uses, both in the field and in the studio. I'm here with Pat Grosswent, who is co-founder of Litepanels, and Pat has been on Hollywood feature films as a gaffer for over 35 years. You're sort of infamous, you're a legend in this industry.
TV shows, commercials, features,
you
live
name it
events.
all. All right, and today we're talking about the Helio, so let's just start off with the design. How did you guys come up with the design of this light?
Well, we adapted to new technology and we improved on our original Helio. So
Okay.
Some of your viewers would remember the Helio that we first came out with. Our Helio, which we designate as the T12 for tungsten or the D12 for daylight,
Got it.
is actually twice as bright.
What's the wattage? Like, what's the power draw on this light?
It's 350 watts power consumption, but
Okay.
it's putting out the equivalent to 2,000 watts of light output.
Okay, so help us understand that a little bit, because that's big.
Yeah, well, the simple way of thinking about it when somebody mentions how many watts a unit is worth is, let's say this is 2,000 watts. If I drop 2 zeros, that means I'm pulling 20 amps. If I have a light bulb and it's a 100-watt light bulb, I drop 2 zeros, I'm using 1 amp.
Right.
And where that really helps out is when you're trying to plug into a house circuit and trying to count up how many units and not throw breakers, as some people have experienced themselves.
You know right away.
Yeah.
So what that means is we could actually run 5 to 6 of these out of a house.
That's the beauty of it.
So what are some of the most popular applications that this light is being used in?
Well, there's a lot of applications. Currently, it's being used in Brazil for the World Cup at one of the sports TV's announcers booths. So it's lighting the announcers in front of a glass plate window, which is showing bright daylight outside.
Daylight. So this light is really competing with the sun.
Correct. It's giving us a chance to be able to see the talent without putting a net behind them. So something like a single or double net or a shark's tooth to drop the intensity of the outside.
Right, so it's not overexposed.
It's not overexposed.
Okay.
There's some value so you can actually see people running around or what have you on the field.
Now, what are people most impressed about when they see this light?
I think most people are impressed with just how bright it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there is the trick that people like to show, which is they'll point a very bright light, LED for instance, at somebody and you're blinding them. And of course it's going to seem bright. I mean, even if I do this to the camera, it's quite bright. But the fact actually that I have so much brightness and I have so much control with the dimmer, like all light panel products, I can dim it without the color shifting. It's very advantageous. So I think that's where people are really surprised. At 350 watts, I'm getting more light than I need, which is what you want. You want to have enough light to do the job or be able to back down from there.
So Pat, tell me about some of your favorite features on the Helio.
Well, I love using the Hilio, one, because it's got such great output, but we've got all these cool features on it. I can show you just by you touching, you can hit the OK button and it'll take you into the sub-menu, which will allow you to use the up and down keys to find whatever information you're looking for on the product. And
so there's DMX channel.
DMX, there's what's the operating temperature of the LED inside the unit. That's a really critical part of a lot of the conversations we've had, which is about thermodynamics and keeping that LED running at a great temperature.
So you can always keep track of, okay, this is what we're running at.
Exactly. It's a lot of great features to have available to you, not that it's necessary for you to look at it constantly, because we build it for quality and the fact that it's going to last. You've got your RJ45 connectors close to the power switch.
Gotcha.
And you have a power supply that you can disconnect and run remotely with a 7-foot extension cable accessory we sell.
Nice. So again, we're really driving it home, versatility. This light is versatile. And one other thing I want to touch on really quickly are these Optic lenses. I love the fact that we can just slip in these durable lenses and all of a sudden we can shape the light.
It's right here. The bag's got 4 different types of Optic filters. And by placing one of these that, for instance, is a wide flood at 60-degree horizontal, that means that I can focus 60 degrees of that light only in that one horizontal line instead of a 360-degree radius. And there's several of these that allow you to put them into the unit and have it change the direction of light, which is not really been accomplished in the past. This is a patented product that a company makes for us. Before you had to use a glass lens, and the problem with the glass lens is if you break one, you have to buy a whole new set.
They're expensive, they're heavy, they're hard to transport.
Thin and lightweight that is.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So we have all these options. Let's go out into the field. This is what I'm really interested in. Let's put these guys to the test and see how they do outside right now while it's daylight. So in the first application, what I'm going to be showing you guys is how in this dark barn, with the introduction of one Hilio light, how I can actually be lit, but then compete with the intensity of that sun outside. So I'm gonna walk out, I'll walk right back in, and you'll see those results. So right now we have a broad daylight background, and what we want to do is retain all of the highlights and the shadows in that background, but then also properly light me in this dark barn. So with the addition of the Hilio, we're able to do that and keep all the dynamic range in that back. Typically, you would have to use a net to achieve something like this, but in this situation, we don't need that. Okay, so now I'm outside, and typically when you're shooting outdoors, you're really battling the intensity of the sun. So what we want to show you is that even in an outdoor setting like this, one Hilio light can give you proper exposure. But before I show you guys that, I have to make a mention of the fact that we're literally powering this Hilio with one stinger, and it's plugged into a house outlet. So we're going to go ahead and kill the lights and show you guys what that looks like. All right, so now we are outdoors and I am a complete silhouette. So we're gonna introduce one Hilio light. And as you guys can see with the introduction of that one Hilio light, now myself, the subject, is properly lit without compromising the exposure of all the highlights and the shadows and the detail in the back. So now we have a perfectly exposed shot. So getting to go hands-on with the Hilio today was really impressive. One of the first things right off the top that I noticed was the intensity of this light. We were able to combat the intensity of the sun and shoot in full daylight situations and still properly light the subject. That's something that was really attractive for me. Another thing was the versatility of the Hilio. We got to put it in a plethora of applications, and it was pretty much tried and true in every one of them. So that was something that was really attractive to me, because that light can be used for multiple different reasons. Now, if you guys have any questions in regards to the Hilio, you can get all the information over at Litepanels at litepanels.com.